My brother died 3 feet away from me, close enough that his blood splattered on my face, close enough that I heard his last breath, close enough that I could have saved him if I'd been faster, smarter, better, close enough that I've been trying to reach him for 19 years. Lance Corporal Daniel Shepard, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. I was at the Battle of Hugh City during Tet, 1968. 26 days of house-to-house fighting in an ancient city that got turned into a graveyard. They call it one of the bloodiest battles of Vietnam. They call it urban warfare at its worst. I just call it the place where I lost my brother. We were from Philadelphia, working-class neighborhood, Irish-Italian, the kind of place where everybody knew everybody. I'm Daniel. My brother was Michael. Mikey, we called him. 17 months younger than me. We shared a bedroom growing up, shared friends, shared everything. Where I went, he followed. What I did, he copied. When I enlisted in the Marines in 1966, he was devastated. Cried when I left for Paris Island. I was 18, thought I was so tough, doing the right thing, serving my country. Thought I'd come back a hero and everything would be the same. By the time I came home on leave before shipping to Vietnam, everything had changed. Mikey had dropped out of high school, was getting into trouble, hanging with the wrong crowd. My mother was worried sick. He pulled me aside the second day I was home. "Take me with you," he said. "You're 17, I said. "Finish school. Get your diploma. I'll enlist as soon as I turn 18. I'm coming either way. Better if we're together, right? You can watch out for me." I should have told him no. Should have told him to stay home, go to college, live his life. Should have told him that Vietnam wasn't like the movies, that war destroys everything it touches, that he didn't want any part of it. But I looked at my little brother, this kid who'd followed me everywhere since he could walk, and I thought, yeah, maybe it would be better if we were together. Maybe I could keep him safe. Biggest mistake of my life. He turned 18 in December 66, enlisted in January 67, made it through boot camp and infantry training. By some miracle or curse, we ended up in the same battalion. Different companies, but same battalion. I could keep an eye on him, make sure he was okay. We got to Vietnam together in August 67, fought through the fall and winter. Small operations, patrols, firefights. Mikey did well, stayed calm under fire, followed orders, proved himself. I was proud of him, told him so. "You're doing good, Mikey, real good." "Learning from the best," he said, grinning that grin that made him look 12 years old instead of 18. We wrote home together. Told Mom we were fine, we were safe, we were looking out for each other. Told Dad about the countryside, the heat, anything but the actual war. They didn't need to know, didn't need to worry. Everything was fine until Tet, until January 31st, 1968, until the world exploded and we found ourselves in Hugh City fighting for our lives, until Mikey died and part of me died with him. Tet offensive started at dawn on January 31st. Coordinated attacks across South Vietnam. The NVA and VC hit everywhere at once. Cities, bases, outposts. Chaos. Total chaos. Hue was one of the main targets. Ancient imperial capital, third largest city in South Vietnam, supposedly secure. The NVA poured in overnight, thousands of them. By morning, they controlled most of the city. Flew their flag from the old citadel, executed government officials, police, anyone connected to the South Vietnamese government. Thousands of civilians murdered and buried in mass graves. We got orders to retake the city, 1st and 5th Marines. We thought it'd be quick, couple days, maybe a week. Clear out some guerrillas, restore order, move on. We were wrong. The NVA had 3 divisions in and around Hue. They'd been planning this for months, had fortified positions, supply caches, prepared defenses. They weren't leaving. They were going to make us bleed for every building, every street, every inch. We entered the city on February 1st, immediately took casualties. Snipers, machine guns, RPGs from every window and rooftop. The NVA knew we were coming, knew exactly where we'd approach, set up perfect kill zones. Mikey's company was in the first assault. Mine was in the second wave. I lost track of him in the chaos. Radio traffic was insane. Casualties being called in from every unit, requests for medevac, calls for fire support. I kept listening for his voice, his unit call sign. Nothing. We pushed into the southern part of the city, house-to-house fighting, the worst kind. Every room could have an enemy waiting. Every doorway could be booby-trapped. Every window could have a sniper. You cleared buildings by throwing grenades first, then rushing in, shooting. Civilians were still in some of these houses, hiding in cellars, trapped by the fighting. We tried to get them out. Didn't always succeed. Lost 5 guys in my platoon the first day. The NVA were professionals, well-trained, well-equipped, fighting from prepared positions. This wasn't guerrilla warfare. This was conventional combat in an urban environment, and they were good at it. By the third day, we'd made it maybe 6 blocks into the city. 6 blocks in 3 days. Dozens of Marines dead, hundreds wounded. The medevacs couldn't keep up. We started using buildings as temporary aid stations, laying wounded on the floors while corpsmen worked on them under fire. I found Mikey on day 4, ran into his company at a rally point between assaults. He was dirty, exhausted, but alive. We had maybe 5 minutes together. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah. You?" "Yeah." We didn't talk about the fighting. Didn't talk about the friends we'd lost. Just stood there, 2 brothers in the middle of hell. Grateful the other was still breathing. "Stay smart," I told him. "Keep your head down. We're going to make it out of this." "I know," he said. "We're going to make it." I believed him. Needed to believe him, because the alternative was too terrible to imagine. We went back to our units, kept fighting, kept pushing through the city, block by block, building by building, bodies piling up on both sides. On February 12th, our companies got assigned to take the same objective, a fortified block of buildings the NVA were using as a strong point. 2-company assault. First time we'd be fighting together since we hit the city. I should have been worried, should have known that meant double the danger, double the chance something would go wrong. But I was glad. Wanted Mikey where I could see him, where I could protect him. Still think I could have protected him. The assault started at dawn, February 13th. We'd spent the night in a destroyed building, waiting for daylight. The NVA shelled us periodically. Mortars, rockets, just letting us know they were there, letting us know they were ready. The objective was 3 blocks away, 3 blocks that might as well have been 3 miles. We'd have to advance through open streets covered by sniper fire and machine guns, then assault fortified positions. Standard doctrine would be artillery prep, air support, soften them up before we went in. We didn't have artillery, too many civilians still in the area. Air support was limited, couldn't risk hitting friendly forces in the tight urban terrain. We had what we had, rifles, grenades, determination, and orders. We moved out at 0600, 2 companies, maybe 150 Marines total, spread out using vehicles and rubble for cover. The NVA let us get halfway before they opened up. Everything at once. Machine guns from the buildings ahead, snipers from the rooftops, RPGs slamming into walls around us. The street became a kill zone. We returned fire, pushed forward, took casualties. Standard procedure: suppress the enemy, advance under fire, close the distance, don't stop. Stopping gets you killed. I saw Mikey's company moving up the left side of the street. Saw him, or thought I did, running between buildings. Wanted to yell to him, tell him to stay low. Couldn't. Too much noise, too much chaos. We reached the target buildings, started the assault. Grenades through windows, then rush in shooting, room by room, floor by floor. The NVA fought hard. They knew what losing this position meant. Knew we'd break their defensive line. They fought to the death. Third building, second floor. My fire team was clearing rooms on the right. Mikey's team was clearing the left. We were maybe 30 feet apart, moving simultaneously. I heard the explosion. Grenade, probably. Heard screaming. Mikey's voice, yelling for a corpsman. I ran. Didn't think. Just ran. Found him in a room at the end of the hall. He'd taken shrapnel. Chest, arms, face, bad, real bad. Blood everywhere. I dropped next to him, pressed my hands on the chest wound, blood pumping between my fingers. Too much blood. Too fast. Doc, corpsman, get a corpsman up here. Mikey was looking at me, trying to talk, blood in his mouth. He couldn't get words out. You're okay, I was saying. You're going to be okay. Corpsman's coming. You're going to be fine. Lies. The worst lies I've ever told. The corpsman arrived, took one look, and I saw it in his face. Nothing he could do. The shrapnel had torn through major vessels. Mikey was bleeding out internally. He had minutes, maybe less. Stay with me, Mikey, I was saying. Stay with me. Come on, stay with me. He tried to say something. Couldn't. Just looked at me with these scared eyes. 17 months younger. My little brother who'd followed me everywhere, who I promised to keep safe. His eyes went distant, unfocused, still looking at me but not seeing me anymore. No, 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 no. Mikey, come on. Don't do this. Don't leave. Please don't leave. But he was already gone, 3 feet away, close enough to touch, too far to reach. I don't remember much after that. The corpsman pulled me away. Someone else took over the room clearing. I ended up outside, sitting against a wall, covered in Mikey's blood, shaking. The fighting continued around me. Marines moving, shooting, dying. The battle didn't stop because my brother died. The war didn't care. Nobody cared except me. My lieutenant found me. Said something about getting back in the fight. I couldn't hear him. Couldn't hear anything but the sound Mikey made, trying to breathe with his lungs full of blood. Couldn't see anything but his eyes going distant. The lieutenant grabbed my rifle, checked it, handed it back. Marine, I need you in the fight. Your brother's gone. You're still here. I need you. I stood up, went back inside, kept clearing rooms, kept shooting, kept fighting, on autopilot, mechanical, not thinking, not feeling, just operating. We took the objective by noon. The NVA were dead or retreated. We'd broken their line. Strategic victory. The battle for Southern Hue turned after that engagement. Cost us 17 Marines. Mikey was one of them. They brought his body out on a poncho, laid him with the other dead in a courtyard. I asked to see him one more time. They let me. His face was covered with a poncho. I pulled it back. He looked peaceful, younger than 18, like he was sleeping. I wanted to tell him I was sorry. Sorry I let him enlist. Sorry I didn't keep him safe. Sorry I promised things I couldn't deliver. But he couldn't hear me anymore. Couldn't hear anything. They medevaxed the dead that afternoon. Put them in body bags and flew them to Graves registration. Mikey flew out of Hue in a bag while I stayed behind and kept fighting. The battle lasted another 2 weeks. We finally secured the Citadel on March 2nd. 26 days of fighting. Several thousand NVA dead. Over 400 Americans killed. Thousands wounded. The city was destroyed. Historical sites reduced to rubble. Civilian casualties in the thousands. We called it a victory. We'd retaken Hue, defeated the NVA, held against the Tet Offensive. Strategic success. The news back home ran stories about American Marines fighting heroically in urban combat. Didn't feel like victory, felt like failure. Felt like I'd failed the one job that mattered, keeping my little brother alive. I finished my tour, 9 more months of patrols, firefights, operations. Didn't care about any of it. Didn't care if I lived or died. Took stupid risks, volunteered for dangerous missions. Part of me wanted to die, wanted to join Mikey, wanted to stop feeling the guilt. But I didn't die, made it through my whole tour. Came home in December 1968. They flew me into Philadelphia. My parents were there to meet me. My mother saw me and started crying, not tears of relief, tears of grief. She'd lost one son. The other son had come home but wasn't really there, wasn't really her Danny anymore. My father shook my hand, asked how I was. I said I was fine. Another lie. I was lying a lot by then, lying to my parents, lying to myself, lying that I was okay, that I'd move on, that I'd survive this. Been lying for 19 years now. The nightmares started immediately. Same dream every night. I'm in that room in Hugh. Mikey's on the floor bleeding. I'm trying to stop it, but the blood keeps coming. I'm screaming for a corpsman, but nobody comes. And Mikey's looking at me with those scared eyes, trying to say something, and I can't understand him. I wake up with his blood on my hands. Except it's not there. Hasn't been there for 19 years. But I can still feel it. Warm and sticky and everywhere. My parents didn't know what to do with me. I couldn't sleep in my old room. Mikey's bed was still there, still made like he was coming home. I ended up sleeping on the couch, then on the floor. Then I stopped sleeping at all. I couldn't go to his funeral. He'd been buried while I was still in Vietnam, while I was still fighting through Hugh. They'd had the service without me. My mother kept his folded flag and his medals in a box in the living room. I couldn't look at them. I tried to work, got a job at the docks, manual labor. Didn't require thinking, but I couldn't hold it. Would have panic attacks hearing loud noises. Would see someone who looked like Mikey from behind and freeze up. Got fired after 3 months. My father tried to talk to me, tried to get me to open up, to grieve properly, to process what happened. But how could I tell him? How could I tell my father that I'd gotten his youngest son killed? That Mikey had followed me to Vietnam and died because I couldn't protect him? That it was my fault? I started drinking in '69, heavily, trying to drown the memories, the guilt, the image of Mikey dying 3 feet away. Didn't work. The memories just got sharper, clearer, more vivid. I got married in '71. Girl from the neighborhood who knew Mikey, who understood what we'd been through. She tried to help, tried to love me enough to fix me. Had a daughter in '72. Named her Michelle, after Mikey. Thought maybe that would help. Thought maybe having something good, something pure, something to live for would pull me out. It didn't. I couldn't connect with my daughter. Couldn't be present. I was still in Hugh. Still watching my brother die. Still failing to save him. My wife left in '76. Took Michelle with her. Can't blame her. I was a shell by then. Drunk, unemployed, living in the past, unable to function in the present. She needed a husband. Michelle needed a father. I couldn't be either. My parents tried to help. Tried interventions. Tried getting me to the VA. Tried everything. My mother would cry and beg me to get help, to let them in, to stop destroying myself. But I couldn't stop. Because stopping meant accepting that Mikey was gone. Meant accepting that I'd failed him. Meant living in a world where my little brother was dead and it was my fault. My father died in '82. Heart attack. The stress of losing Mikey, of watching me fall apart, of carrying grief for both his sons, it killed him. My mother said as much at the funeral, said he'd died of a broken heart. I killed him too, just slower than I killed Mikey. I'm 41 years old now. Been 19 years since Hugh. Longer than Mikey lived. I've been carrying his death longer than he was alive. I live alone in a studio apartment in South Philly, 2 blocks from where we grew up. Sometimes I walk past our old house. Different family lives there now. Different kids playing in the street. The world moved on. Everyone moved on except me. I see my mother once a week, Sunday dinners. She cooks the meals Mikey used to love, sets 3 places at the table, her, me, and an empty chair. She doesn't talk about Mikey anymore, doesn't ask about Vietnam, just sits there quietly, eating dinner with her surviving son, who isn't really surviving. She's 72 now, looks 80. Grief aged her. Or maybe I aged her. Maybe it's both. I never remarried. See my daughter Michelle maybe twice a year. She's 15 now. Looks like my mother. Acts like Mikey, bright, funny, full of life. I don't know her. Don't know what she likes, what she dreams about, who her friends are. I'm a stranger who happens to be her father. She asked me about Uncle Mikey once. She was maybe 8. What was he like? I couldn't answer. Started crying. First time I'd cried since Hugh. Just broke down at a pizza restaurant while my 8-year-old daughter watched confused. My ex-wife doesn't let me see Michelle alone anymore. Can't blame her. The VA diagnosed me with PTSD years ago. Survivor's guilt, they call it. Said it's common among veterans who lost friends, especially brothers who died right next to you. They offered treatment, therapy, medication, support groups. I went to a few sessions, sat in circles with other vets talking about their trauma, but their trauma wasn't mine. They lost friends. I lost my brother, the person who followed me everywhere, who trusted me to keep him safe, who died because I failed. There's no therapy for that, no medication, no support group that understands what it's like to watch your little brother die and know you could have saved him if you'd been faster, better, different. I work part-time at a liquor store now, night shifts. Don't have to interact with people much. Just stock shelves and work the register. Go home, drink, sleep a few hours, wake up from the nightmare, repeat. Sometimes I think about ending it, joining Mikey wherever he is, apologizing in person, telling him I'm sorry, so sorry for everything, for bringing him to Vietnam, for not keeping him safe, for surviving when he didn't. But I can't, because my mother has already lost one son, lost her husband. She's buried enough family. I can't do that to her, so I keep living. If you can call this living. People ask me about Vietnam sometimes. Co-workers, people at the bar. They want war stories, want to know what combat was like, want to hear about heroism and brotherhood and all the myths we tell ourselves about war. I tell them I don't remember much. Another lie. I remember everything, every detail, every sound, every smell. The layout of that room where Mikey died, the feel of his blood on my hands, the way his eyes looked when the light went out of them, the exact shade of gray his face turned, the weight of his body when I tried to hold him up. I remember all of it, every second, every moment, playing on repeat in my head for 19 years. The Battle of Hue ended on March 2nd, 1968. We raised the American flag over the citadel, declared victory, moved on to the next battle. But I never left that room, never left that moment when my brother died 3 feet away and I couldn't save him. I'm still there, still pressing my hands on the wound, still watching him slip away, still failing, still reaching for him across 3 feet that might as well be infinity. Mikey was 18 when he died, still a kid, still my little brother, still the boy who followed me everywhere, who looked up to me, who trusted me. I was supposed to keep him safe. That was the deal. That was my job as the older brother. I failed, and I've been failing every day since, failing to live the life he should have lived, failing to be there for my daughter the way I couldn't be there for him, failing to be the person he thought I was. My mother keeps a picture on her mantel, me and Mikey before we deployed, both in dress blues, standing straight, looking proud, two brothers ready to serve, ready for adventure, ready for anything. We were ready for everything except what actually happened, except the horror of urban combat, except watching each other die, except coming home broken and never healing. One of us came home. One of us is still in that room in Hugh, bleeding out on a dirty floor, trying to say goodbye to his brother. Sometimes I don't know which one is which. Sometimes I think we both died there. One body came home, one body stayed, but both brothers died on February 13th, 1968, in a building in Hugh City. We just died differently. Mikey died fast. Merciful, maybe. Quick. I'm dying slowly. 19 years and counting, drowning in guilt and grief and blood that's been gone for 19 years but never washes off. My brother died 3 feet away from me. Close enough to save him. Too far to reach him. Still trying, still reaching, still failing, still dying, forever 3 feet away from the person I couldn't save. The person I'll never stop trying to reach. My little brother. Mikey, gone. And I'm still here, still alive, still guilty, still his older brother who failed the only job that mattered. 19 years, and I still can't forgive myself. Maybe I never will.